The world is brimming with incredible and enigmatic locations. However, there are certain places you should avoid at all costs, and the reasons behind it are enough to make your stomach turn. From a haunted island to a creepy hotel you'd never want to leave, these are some off-limits destinations you should steer clear of. Number 1. The Elephant's Foot. Few places in the world are as intense as the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in northern Ukraine. The devastating disaster of 1986 severely damaged the plant and contaminated a massive 1,600 square miles, making the area so heavily irradiated that it's been declared uninhabitable for the next 20,000 years. Although radiation levels have decreased enough to allow visitors in certain parts, one section of the plant remains extremely hazardous: the maintenance corridor beneath the destroyed reactor. Here lies a massive, intensely radioactive mass known as corium. Corium is a deadly mixture of nuclear fuel and melted material from the plant, formed during the reactor meltdown. It burned through over 6 feet of concrete before settling in its current location. When it was first discovered, this highly radioactive mass, ominously nicknamed the Elephant's Foot, emitted radiation equivalent to 4.5 million chest X-rays every hour. Not that anyone would survive that long. Just 5 minutes of exposure would have been fatal. Over the years, the radiation has gradually weakened, but the danger is still severe. How severe exactly is unknown because since 2016, that section of the plant has been sealed off to humans. A massive containment structure, made of nearly 40,000 tons of steel and concrete, now surrounds the reactor to trap the dangerous radiation inside and keep people out. And honestly, that's a relief. Number 2. Plague Island. In the waters between Venice and Lido lies a small, eerie island in the Venetian lagoon, with a history so tainted by suffering that it's been off-limits since the late 1960s. Welcome to Poveglia Island. Its story began in the 7th century when settlers arrived and built a thriving community. But in the late 14th century, war broke out, forcing the island's residents to evacuate for their safety. Despite Venice's victory, Poveglia remained abandoned for years. In 1645, the island saw a new construction. 5 octagonal forts were erected to protect the Venetian lagoon, though only one still stands today. After that, Poveglia served as a checkpoint for travelers and goods coming to and from Venice. But everything took a grim turn when the plague was found aboard 2 ships passing through. The island was quickly transformed into a quarantine zone, and in the years that followed, over 160,000 people were sent there, many showing only mild plague symptoms. Most never made it off the island. Thousands of bodies were cremated, and legend has it that over half the soil is made of human ash. Chilling, right? But that's not even the worst part. After the plague era, Poveglia became the site of a massive mental asylum in the early 1900s. Back then, understanding of mental health was primitive, and cruel practices like lobotomies and electric shock therapy were standard treatments. Local legends even whisper about a deranged doctor who performed twisted experiments on patients, using brutal tools like hand drills. Needless to say, few survived his torturous methods. The asylum eventually shut down in 1968, leaving Poveglia completely abandoned. Today, the island is strictly off-limits, and any footage we have comes from sneaky trespassers. The official reason for its closure? The crumbling buildings are too dangerous. But unofficially, many believe Poveglia is one of the most haunted places on Earth, with thousands of tormented spirits doomed to wander forever. Even if visiting were allowed, you definitely wouldn't find me hopping on a boat there. You know where you should go, though? Straight to those like and subscribe buttons, so you never miss any of my amazing content. Now, back into the mysterious myths we venture. Number 3. Hotel del Salto. Perched precariously atop a towering cliff by a waterfall in Colombia stands a building with a century-old history shrouded in darkness. Welcome to the Hotel del Salto, originally built as a mansion before being transformed into a hotel in 1928. From the very beginning, tragedy seemed to cast a shadow over the place. According to local legend, back in the 1500s, native people would leap from the nearby waterfall to escape capture by Spanish forces. It's said they would transform into eagles mid-fall and soar into the sky, though it's safe to say that not every part of that story is equally believable. Fast forward to 1928, and the hotel seemed to become a magnet for misfortune. Many guests who checked in never left, choosing to end their lives in the same way. This led to a reputation of the hotel being haunted. Visitors reported seeing ghostly apparitions and hearing voices speaking in a strange language, and one guest was even driven to madness. Combined with the economic turmoil of the Great Depression in the 1930s, the hotel's business suffered tremendously. By the 1990s, the Hotel del Salto had closed and was left abandoned, though its grim legacy lived on. The decaying building stayed in ruins until 2013, when it was finally renovated and reopened as a museum. Nowadays, daytime visits are allowed, but once the clock strikes 5 p.m., access is strictly forbidden. Aside from the danger of the cliff edge, it's said that the spirits haunting the building come out at night. And with that, it's time for me to check out. But don't worry, we'll be back soon with a brand new video. Which of these forbidden places would you be brave enough to visit? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching.